Pupco Studios in Oklahoma City. You're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for Inbox. Your email questions answered here on video. Let's get to the inbox. Frederick's got our first question. He says, my feeling has long been the Thunder will never get back to where they were 2 years ago for a number of reasons. I hope I'm wrong. Wow, that's a downer, Barry.
It is a downer, and Freddie, I got to tell you, I hope you're wrong too. 2 years ago, the Thunder was in the NBA Finals. And never is a long time, especially when you got Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook tied up for the next few years. So seems to me what we're dealing with here is a spirit of pessimism based on recent events. James Harden leaving, the Russell Westbrook injury, the lack of impactful free agents in the summer, a lot of bad news coming in bulks for the Thunder. However, you still got Durant. Still got Westbrook coming back in December or even sooner. I think everything's going to be fine. I don't think the Thunder is an overwhelming favorite for the West, maybe not even the favorite for the West. However, they're going to be a force in the playoffs. You go out there and you play and you see if you win. I think it's going to be a great year.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, 60 wins, I don't know about that. I think when you go a long stretch over a month, it sounds like without Russell Westbrook, the chance of losing some footing when it comes to seeding is probably likely, and they're probably going to lose some games too. But I still think this is a good team. Anytime you start building around Kevin Durant and then you add in another all-star like Russell Westbrook when he gets healthy, Serge Ibaka, great defense out of Thabo Cephalosha, up-and-comers like Reggie Jackson, Jeremy Lamb, who we're about to find out how good he is, it's not the team it was 2 years ago. We're just going to have to get used to the fact that even though these guys are, it's not like college where they graduate every 4 years. It still changes. It still evolves. It has to. So it's not going to be the exact same team. But I still think this team's got a chance to have some good results this year. Back to the inbox. Danny's got our next question. He says, what's your feeling on the OSU offense? With J.W. Walsh at quarterback last year, they were still able to move the ball on the ground and the air.
He makes a great point, which is this: the problem might not lie with J.W. Walsh. You got you got blocking issues, you got tailback issues, you got new offensive coordinator, a lot of different things. I want to see another game. I came away from the Mississippi State game encouraged about the OSU offense because they seemed to switch horses in midstream, went to a more running game, played solid. So I wasn't despairing after the Mississippi State game. I was despairing after the West Virginia game. That was awful. If we see anything close to that again, there are major problems with the OSU offense. I want to see if that continues, or can the Cowboys get back on the horse and be their old productive selves against Kansas State? If they are, then things are fine.
You were despairing after West Virginia. I had to watch it with my own eyes. I felt like they were bleeding at times. That was some ugly offense by the Cowboys. And I think this team's got a defense good enough to win a lot of ball games, but clearly the offense has hit a snag. And to me, it's a one-game thing at this point. If we start to see this be the pattern, then it's time to get concerned and maybe talk about some changes. I think running back is one area, though, that has to be looked at in the short term. For whatever reason, Jeremy Smith is not getting what he's got in the past. And if you're going to hand him the ball 15 times a game and only get a cumulative 1 yard out of him, the pressure that puts on everybody else in that offense, and that includes J.W. Walsh, that is extreme. So if he's not going to be more productive, whether it's offensive line or the way he's running, they ran Des Roland and didn't run him vastly different against West Virginia. The result, though, was vastly different. I think they got to give Desmond Roland the ball a little bit more. All right, back to the inbox, and Kent's got our next one. He says, these quarterbacks are bad in the NFL. Blaine Gabbert, Josh Freeman, Brandon Whedon, Colt McCoy. Sam Bradford had better get it going soon.
It's not a great crop of NFL success. There's no doubt about it.
Former Big 12 guys here on this list, by the way.
This Big 12 crop is just not getting it done. Sam Bradford faces a tough situation. St. Louis is still rebuilding, still trying to get somewhere. And the truth is, we don't know how good of a quarterback Sam Bradford can be. The Rams don't know either. He's been developing. He's reaching the point where it's time to play. He hasn't been awful. He hasn't been great. It's time for Bradford to step up his game. It's also time for the Rams to step up their game. Eventually, NFL teams grow impatient with quarterbacks and regimes that don't get it done.
Yeah, definitely so. And, it is a little bit disheartening because these are the guys that just a few years ago we all said, wow, what salad days of quarterbacking we're in the Big 12. Look at all these great quarterbacks throughout the league, and now the quarterbacking is a little down. So, we're thinking, hey, it'll come back and we're getting ready to go again. But when you see what these guys have done or not done in the NFL, I'm not sure what to make of it, Barry. I mean, I think it's in part an indictment on them. It's got to be. But then you look at some of the teams they're on, and, it's hard to blame Sam Bradford the last couple years when he's running around and getting beat on. It's hard to blame Blaine Gabbert when he maybe doesn't have the best guys around him. So I think it's a little bit of both. All right, back to the inbox one more time. Mitch says, I think OU is showing that assistant coaches matter. All players recruited have talent. They have the facilities. I see much better line play, and it makes a difference. Obviously, a shout out to the new defensive line coach at OU.
Yeah, Jerry Montgomery's done a good job. Bill Beatonbow, the offensive line's done a good job. And here's the truth. I have to agree with Mitch. I think there has been a new blood infusion at OU, and it has made a difference. Here's the thing about Bob Stoops. He goes 13 years without firing a coach. And then fires one. A year later, fires three. So all of a sudden, you sort of lose the romantic notion of staff stability. However, Stoops is a fan of saying, he doesn't cry when a veteran player leaves. He said that's just the nature of college football. So, his new blood on the coaching staff has come from people getting promoted and getting new jobs. Sometimes you need to make changes for new blood in other ways. So, as much as I think it hurts Stoops to make changes and sort of lose that status of never firing a guy, it has paid off well. We're seeing that. If it continues, the Sooners will be in very good shape.
And I don't necessarily think the coaches that they had previously, I don't think that they were bad coaches. I think they were good at what they did. But I think sometimes players and maybe even other coaches that are, sort of in that group, maybe you just sort of need something new. You need somebody talking about, how you're going to play or how you're going to block or how you're going to tackle. You just need something different. You need to hear a little bit of a different perspective. And maybe that just gives you a little bit of an edge, sort of new thought, new ideas. And so, I don't think who they had before, I don't think they were bad coaches. I think maybe just the new blood, I think maybe that might have helped regardless of who it is. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.